Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have L-Pop. This is a Disney Plus original series, and it is from 2023. It's one season so far. The episodes are about 30 minutes long or so. What is L-Pop? You've heard of K-pop. You've heard of possibly J-pop. What is L-Pop? Well, this is the title given to the show. It is not mentioned in the show so far. I've only watched one episode. I got the gist of it. It is literally about Andrea. She is obsessed with K-pop music and artists and the culture surrounding all of it. And her sister, Pao, is making a documentary about her and her obsession. Thing is, they're in Mexico City. This is a Spanish language show overdubbed in English with Korean music that sometimes has English lyrics, but yeah, everybody's speaking in Spanish, even the Korean characters. So yeah, when they're not speaking Korean. But so this takes place in Mexico City. It's very much just teenagers, young adults who are just living their lives. They just happen to have this very obsessive connection to K-pop music, BTS and Pink Black, and that's two of the names I can think off the top of my head of all the different K-pop artists that they enjoy. Andrea is she might be a little older than some of her friends who they make music videos. They lip sync to the songs they love, the artists they love, and they know the minutia. I understand that kind of thing. I'm not, by the way, I'm not mocking anybody who's into K-pop music. It's not my type of music. I've heard plenty of it. I go to Anime Expo. I know that's mostly Japanese culture, but there's plenty of K-pop artists represented there. So I also understand obsession with certain things that you just become a party of. Like Star Wars or Marvel or things like that. That's my thing. And so yeah, it's in this case we get to see Andrea through the eyes of her sister's documentary, but also it's shot as a regular series at the same time. So you get a number of situations and scenes shot through her cameraman's lens. That's Paolo, whose face so far I don't think we see. We just see his head behind the camera every so often, but we also see it from another perspective of just the actual series regular camera. If that doesn't make sense, don't matter. You can watch it and you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's just not full-on Office kind of format, because it'd be difficult to tell this whole story if it was all shot through a documentarian's camera lens. Yeah, and that's the only angle you see. So certain things do happen without being filmed as part of the documentary, but it's sometimes that line is blurred and you can kind of tell that somehow Pablo are getting those shots. As Andrea's life gets turned upside down, she is so overworked at the Korean restaurant she works at in Koreatown in Mexico City. I did not know that was a thing. I always thought that the United States, tends to throw in subcultures and in their big cities. Mexico City isn't it like the second biggest city in the world behind Tokyo? It's a lot. So I imagine there would be a Korean subculture at some point, at some size there, and shows that these characters are no different than anybody else here in America or other countries. They have a love of music regardless of where they come from. So L-pop, I imagine L is Latin, I guess. Well, we'll see. That might be obvious to you. It wasn't made obvious in the first episode to me. Anyway, Andrea, I'm not going to tell you the entire story, but I'm going to give you the hook, basically. As her being featured in this documentary, mostly against her will, especially at the beginning, as she's experiencing, you know, just hanging out with her friends and doing these music videos, singing, lip syncing to their songs, it becomes apparent that Andrea is disconnected because she is so busy at work. She doesn't have really time to learn the choreography with her friends. And understand, this is a comedy. This is, at the same time, it takes K-pop seriously because the characters take it seriously. It is also very much a comedy, and how sometimes, I guess, a little bit of their obsessiveness can get in the way of what some people consider real life. Andrea's parents are very much comic relief in this, but they're also the ones trying to get Andrea to buckle down and get a real job, not at a restaurant in Koreatown where she sometimes brings home food that they have a difficulty eating because it's just not their thing. They want her to be a dentist like them. And so they cut away every once in a while because their other daughter, Pao, films their reactions to what their daughter is into, what she likes and how it's part of her life. Well, we also get to see that Andrea is so overwhelmed that she gets kicked out of her girl group, K-pop loving girl group, and it devastates her enough. But while this is the filming of this documentary within a TV series is very meta in some ways. Pao is waiting for this big turn moment toward the end of the episode. Like, what can keep Andrea still obsessed with K-pop? Well, of course, there's a competition that exists that will possibly, if she had a group still, she could perform in and win a trip to Korea to see, I guess, some of the biggest stars in K-pop and just the world they come from. And it's a dream. It's a dream for her to go there. Is she going to do it? How is she going to do it? Especially since she no longer has a group, because she's kind of betrayed by her friends. One of which is just this blonde, rich girl who doesn't let anybody forget that repeatedly. So yeah, it's there's lots of comedic characters in this, but it's, for the most part, it's about Andrea and her swings between understanding or feeling that she must get a grown-up job, try to do what her parents expect of her, and also following her passions. And her passions extend a little bit further than just lip syncing and music videos to their favorite singers. It's a little bit more, and that will come into play in later episodes from what I read. So, but yeah, I try not to get too far ahead of it. This is the kind of thing that I think anybody, if you just enjoy a good comedy, and especially, hey, Disney Plus has gotten so many different dramas and comedies and all the sorts of things from other countries as part of their Disney Plus original thing, and it's produced by Disney. It's not just like, hey, this is a good show in Argentina, let's just take that and make it ours. It's produced by Disney, so I assume that is correct because the way the titles and the credits at the end state it seems like it would be. So we get a lot of international flavor. In this one, we get a whole lot of different international flavor. It's not just American stories. So, but you know what? They're still familiar, regardless of where we are in the world, what language we speak, what language we have a difficulty speaking, or the music we love. We're all pretty much the same. So that is a neat little revelation you can get from just watching this. And so yeah, it's if you're looking for something you haven't seen yet, and it is a comedy. Not all the episodes are on Disney Plus yet. I imagine they'll be added at some point. So, but this is 2023, so it's a number of years old. I imagine season 2 will show up at some point. I don't know. It is, if I didn't say this already, it is dubbed into English. So you don't have to worry about changing any settings unless you want to change it to Spanish, because that would be the main language. So yeah, it surprised me. It was actually funnier than I expected. And I wasn't really expecting a comedy. I just figured this would be just some sort of teen drama kind of thing. But it's a comedy. So definitely, I say definitely check it out. It's not what you would expect, but it's a celebration of different color. It sounds so cheesy to say it's a celebration of different cultures, but it acknowledges that we can enjoy whatever we like. We could, you know what, obsessions of in pop culture aren't a bad thing as long as nobody gets hurt. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 108. Don't have to scroll far. Come on. Oh, all right. Well, this is a series. I'm getting a lot of short stuff recently, but this is very much a Disney Junior type thing. I would hope so. I would think so. I don't know if it's labeled that, but it definitely will be pointing towards the younger audience. This is Kindergarten, the musical. Yeah. This is actually pretty new. I remember adding it to the list in this last quarter. So, and that list is going to be updated again in just a few days. So be ready for that. Kindergarten, the musical is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.